Hello, everyone, and welcome to Multiplane Podcast. I'm Ty, and today with me again I have
Jake.
Now, last week we had Jake on the show. Jake's going to be pretty regular on this show going forth. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Jake.
So I am a avid Disney fan. I've been a pass holder for quite a few years. I also am a YouTuber. My family has a family vlog with an emphasis on Disney stuff. So I have no idea how many Disney videos we actually have in our log. Probably, hundreds, probably, because we have thousands of videos up on our channel. A lot of how-to stuff, and then just kind of go to the park and visiting the park and kind of adventures with us. But I've always been a great big Disney nerd, and I always loved Star Wars. I got deeper into Star Wars like when I had a son, and it kind of became something in common that we kind of do together and have fun together. So, but yeah.
Yeah, Jake is our Disney fan with a major emphasis on the Star Wars side. And it's always fun to have extra people who like to do deep dives and like to further the knowledge of, some of you guys who are either watching or listening. So today we're going to cover Mandalorian Season 3. We're up to Episode 3. So if you guys have not watched The Mandalorian, you're not caught up, pause, come back, because, yes, there's going to be spoilers.
Yes, we're going
to get into it. And then a little bit later in the show, we're also going to talk about Bob Iger is coming up on his... Have we already passed the 1 year of him coming back?
No, not yet.
No. Sorry, yeah. But Bob Iger is contract for 2 years coming back in his position. We're going to be talking about possible successors, what the future of that holds. But let's get right into Mando Season 3. Now, for me, I loved the opening of this. And there's one small thing that I like. As soon as we get into this season, you can look back on Season 2, Season 1. You see the transition of how the budget on this has obviously grown. So, yeah.
It's gotten a lot better. The budget's better, but I don't know. I don't know where you want to start. Do you want to start and review Season 1, Season 2? Because I don't know. It changed from a Western, right? Season 1 was more of a gunslinger Western going after the old style. And then, but the whole time I honestly feel like Jon Favreau would just laid out all the fan service treats that he knew we would love. and he keeps doing it. And this is something I talked to Ty about the other day. Like the day we watched it, we kind of had a powwow and we're like, because he hated this episode, but I
Episode 3
necessary
of Season 3. Yeah.
This one that just came out. So the reason it's necessary is because, like I said, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau sat there and, like I said, put all these goodies in front of them and probably said, okay, how are we going to build a story? I mean, because some of the stuff like Star Wars, you're like, okay, Yoda's awesome, Jedis are awesome, Mandalorians are awesome. And they made this thing that it'll be awesome to see how it comes out in the end, because I have all sorts of questions. Will Grogu ever get a Mandalorian helmet with little gaps for his ears to poke out with, a Mandalorian Jedi? They laid out this big timeline, and they knew what they were going to do, but they had to cut out little sections to insert a story to fix a lot of things. They had, and that's I think what we got in Episode 3. They're like, okay, we gave them what we know they love, what we know they love in Episode 2, and then in Episode 3, they're like, okay, we got to give up a little bit just to further the story to fix. And you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know the fix I'm talking about. We went through how many episodes in the movies, and then all of a sudden, Palpatine's back.
Yeah.
It's like, Palpatine's back, and nobody knew what was going on. There was no backstory. There was nothing, no understanding of what the heck was happening. And all of a sudden, poof, he was back. And since then, they've been trying to fix it. They've been putting in little teeny seeds and laying the crumbs to what's going to be. So I think that's what Ty hated that whole part. I'm pretty sure, as I understand that whole part of the episode.
And here's my hate. I don't necessarily hate that part of the content. I hated it because it was in Mando season 3, right? Could have we done something else or put it somewhere else? No, yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah,
really. I understand why we needed it because yes, in season 2 of Mando, we found that base back on. Remind me the planet's name. It starts with an N. It's the one that he comes back to.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Anyways,
the one that he goes back to, that not Navarro.
Navarre, yeah, it is Navarre. Yeah. Thank you. So we go back to Navarre. They're saying, "Hey, this is the last Imperial outpost. With it gone, we are rid of the Empire on this planet." And we see the cloning tanks full of all these mutilated bodies, and we're like,
look like Snoke-ish.
Yeah, that's the crumb trail that you're talking about. That it's like, okay, this is how we're getting the Emperor and Snoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is because the good thing, I guess, that comes out of this episode 3, is that in the opening sequence, the Doctor is telling how not just taking one clone like we did with Jango Fett and making a clone army. No, we're taking the best of 2 parts or multiple parts, putting that in the DNA strand, and then we can come back from that. That's why we needed Grogu for the experiments in the first 2 seasons they were hunting him.
See, and it might not be just to bring back the Emperor. There are stuff in the Legends part.
Yeah.
They might have been using that to combine with other stuff in order to make a Force-sensitive Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
If they can make this elite Stormtrooper that's actually Force-sensitive, all that would be pretty awesome. But it'd be pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, you have to get through it. There are parts that I like, even of the political drama, which was pretty much, I loved Andor.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was political, back and forth, and which I think they did a super good job of that in Andor. I super enjoyed it. It was really good watch. You had to pay attention to understand what was going on. It was really, really good. This one was a little bit different. I did like they did some blatant callbacks, when he's sitting there, it's a trap, to the calamari.
Yeah.
It's standing there.
It's a trap.
I was okay with it. It was a blatant callback, but it was totally fine. But then there was subtle things where they were telling a story in the background, like she literally hands him a box of forbidden fruit. He's like, "Oh, I remember back when I was evil, and here's what I loved, and then
I loved these cookies." Yeah.
He
That's the other
fruit,
Talk about fan service. Good and well that Jon Favreau played to the meme. Hey, I'm sure you've heard the meme, "Come to the dark side, we have cookies."
Yeah.
He literally had that meme.
Together.
Yeah. Because a biscuit.
Nope.
Okay. I know. I lived in a different country where we called cookies biscuits. So it's literally, come to the dark side.
Yeah.
But let's go back to episode 1. I feel like, we're jumping straight into 3. Let's kind of roll back around to episode 1.
Okay.
The anticipation for this.
Well,
because right now I still feel like Mandalorian is carrying a lot of the weight of the franchise.
And they've done some weird stuff, even pre-episode 1. Why in the heck did they put the first and second episode or the last 2 episodes of last season in Boba Fett?
Yeah.
It literally was. If you didn't catch Boba Fett and didn't watch the last 2 episodes of Boba Fett, you would have no clue what was going on. You'd be like, wait a minute, where did Grogu come from? He was left with Luke.
And I had people who I was talking to, this exact thing got brought up. They're like, when did he get the kid back? And I'm like, did you not watch the Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah.
No, I started the first episode.
That was
got through the
weird.
second, and I couldn't really get through it. And I was like, go back and watch the last 2.
Yep.
At least watch the last 2 episodes.
You have to.
Then you will be caught up.
You're going to be lost if you don't. That was weird. I thought that was really weird how they did that. And
yeah,
they also left a bunch of stuff like Cobb Vanth.
Yeah.
I was wondering, that stuff's left hanging in the other series, but still where they never clarified that. I don't know. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff hanging that was even before the first episode that they kind of left a bunch of stuff just out there and didn't finish it up. But hopefully
we might come back to it, you know.
Yeah, there's still time.
Because my thing was, I thought we were going to have to go through at least 4 or 5 episodes. I thought getting to Mandalore was going to be the big climactic scene that we're working up to. And it's like, oh no, by the end of episode 2, we're heading to Mandalore.
Yeah.
So I don't know where we're going.
Which is awesome.
Because that's my whole thing. I thought, okay, season 3 is we're taking back Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that slow feed that we're getting to, okay, we're at the end of the season. That's when we watch this panel of him taking steps off of his ship and walking onto Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's like, hey, we've already been there. We've already bathed in the waters. Like, now where are we going from here?
Yeah, and I'm digging it so far. I mean, he's got and Katie Sackhoff she's now a main character. Like, I honestly think I heard they were only having her in for kind of a cameo and kind of a fan service, but now she is going to be. I'm keep dipping back to episode 3 because it ties a lot together.
That's fine. Yeah.
Because in the first 2, she's just chilling on a throne. She's just kind of hanging out in an empty castle. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what her story is, because at the end of 3, and I'm jumping around, Ty.
No, you're good. She's
you can't tell what she's thinking. She's got a helmet on, but you're still trying to figure out what's going on. But she's been brought into the story as a main character now.
Well, and the thing is, why has she not told anyone about what we saw down in the living waters?
Right. But why? Is she gonna? That's the thing. Is she feel like there's a couple things? Does she feel like she belongs somewhere, and she's actually going, wait, I like how this feels. I like what's going on. Or is she doing kind of like the Imperial character over there with the Doctor? Is she just going kind of undercover to get what she wants, and she's got a crew, and she can use those guys to get back the Darksaber and kind of go back in the lead? She might even try to like ride the Mythosaur.
That's what I'm like, okay, are we keeping it a secret so that she can sneak off back to Mandalore? Because like, oh, sure, the Darksaber is one thing, but now if I'm on the back of a freaking Mythosaur, like,
yeah, is
that going to be bigger? Like, this is my rule, my right to rule thing. Do you think so? Here's some other possible characters coming up in this season. I have 2.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear who you think. Obviously we know who the first character who we both think is going to be coming into the series at some point, if not this season.
Right.
From our first episode.
Mm-hmm.
We're flying in hyperspace and we see Urgles?
Yeah, space whales.
Space whales.
I never remember their name.
I think it's like Urgles or something, but space whales. We'll go with that. We see the space whales and they're kind of freaking Grogu out.
Yep.
For those of you guys who don't know, this is a reference to Rebels. So either go watch Rebels if you've got kids. Definitely, maybe it can become something that becomes your guys' watch party thing where you're watching Rebels. They've made all of, the seasons that I think we're getting thus far. They have these things that are like space whales, mm-hmm. and they have the ability to travel through hyperspace.
Which, from what I understand, they actually saw these, and that's how they developed the technology to do it. From these whales. So,
and we see these specific beings at the end of Rebels with a character named Ezra.
Yep.
Who is a Jedi, who's a very different kind of Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
He's very emotionally tied, which goes almost completely against all the Jedi code. But it's those emotional ties that it keeps bringing him back. He's mingled with the dark side a little bit, but it's the emotional ties that have brought him back from that. And so with seeing those in Mandalorian, I had made the prediction back in season 2 when Grogu was on the stone, whatever it was, the Seer mm-hmm. Stone, the Force Stone, projecting mm-hmm. itself out there in the universe. Ezra was one of my predictions to show up.
I would have never predicted Luke.
No, I think I had Ezra, Cal Kestis, and Mace Windu were my 3 predictions.
Oh, Mace Windu would be so cool.
And I still think we can get Mace Windu. If you can bring Palpatine back, I'm pretty sure Mace Windu can still be kicking. Like,
yeah. They don't have to bring him back. He just never died. He's just been hiding.
But that's with that scene, I can almost guarantee this season or within the series or even Ahsoka, more so Ahsoka, because he's going to tie into that more.
Yeah.
We are going to see Ezra.
Do we have any clues? I haven't seen any clues of who's going to play him.
I just think we've had fan casts. I don't know if we've had any official stuff put out. If I'm wrong, guys, comment, message us, or say something. But
what's the guy's name on Dune?
Oh, yes,
dude. What is his name? I can't remember his name.
Here we have.
That's the first guy that popped into my head. I never really thought about it, like trying to, like my guess of who it would be. But that guy popped into my head. That guy would be
Timothy Chalamet.
Yep, that's what it is. Yep.
I'm butchering that, but yeah, I could see him playing it.
He could play it. There's a few other ones. Anyway, yeah, it'd be interesting to see who they cast. I know I probably know the next character. You're going through people you think we're going to see. Who's the next one?
Who do you think? Go ahead, shoot for it.
I think. Well, I saw a picture of it, and it looked like Cumberbatch.
Oh, Thrawn.
Thrawn.
You think Thrawn will show up in this one?
Or they'll wait to bring that out in Ahsoka.
I don't think Cumberbatch is playing him either.
I don't think so either. But I saw like a fan art.
Yeah,
he was sitting like this, like he was concocting a plan, but he was blue and looked pretty cool. I don't know. I'm trying to think of who'd be a good actor. Put in the comments there what you would guess would be
if we were to get him in this
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
I think he would just be like a cameo, small cameo in this.
Or a tease.
I think they're saving him for Ahsoka, obviously.
I agree.
But I want to see a small little. This would be like Cad Bane level cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Okinawa. Yandu? Not Yandu. Who am I thinking? He's in. You know when we're in the queue at Smuggler's Run?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know
Onaka.
The smuggler.
Onaka,
yeah. Hondo Onaka.
Hondo, thank you. Hondo, yeah. I think we should see him pop up in this series.
I think they've had some of his people, the ones that were outside the bar.
Yeah.
Were those guys? I think they were a different kind of gangster.
But still.
But they were associated. And even some of the actual alien species, we've seen those guys already.
Similar.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. I want to see him pop up because along the lines when we see those pirates, we also, as soon as he says, we have the best droid people in the galaxy. Yeah.
I'm
like, if you, and it's a little door too, guys. So I'm like, if you show me Babu Frick, I'm going to lose my mind right now. And I know
that was awesome.
A lot of people are like, oh, the sequel stuff isn't that great. And I'm like, okay, but Babu Frick was a good little character.
He was good. He was really good.
He's funny. He obviously could do something no one else could do.
Uh-huh.
I love that species that we've brought into this now, though.
Yeah.
And we don't see Babu, but we see more of his species. And his people.
Yeah.
In this little workshop that now we have Mando like crouching down in Grogu's playing with them like they're pets, but
is IG-11 coming back? I mean, I kind of understood the motivation there, but if it could have been any R2 droid or why did he specifically want? Because he doesn't trust droids, and IG-11 gained his trust, and that was the only one he really wanted. Because then I guess that makes sense, because he didn't even want R5. He was like, no, because of his
R5
experience.
Still has a bad motivator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. He still doesn't trust droids. They said IG-11 had to earn his trust, and he didn't want anybody else.
See, and at first I was, let's bring IG because then we get Taika back into the series. But now I'm like, okay, well, do we use IG's parts and do we like make Grogu a mech suit, or
Oh, what?
do
Is
we
that?
take
I'm trying to
his
think if that's
prim
a
and
Star
like
Wars thing. I know they build whatever they called those. That was another one I really didn't like in Boba Fett was those 80s kids on their bright colored scooters. Mech guys that
trust me, you guys can go back and listen to our other episodes talking about that was a
that was
big
awful.
no for me.
That was awful. That was awful.
As long as we don't get anything like that back, I'll be okay. But what if we upgrade his prim and he now has like
He's
a whole mech suit that he can do the stuff that yeah.
I know you. I'm just throwing all these questions that I've been thinking about, so I'm just kind of
yeah.
The other thing is he's talking almost every scene. He's vocalizing now,
Now
not
I have
just
a
kind of
question for
making
you.
little baby noises. He's starting to make. I'm really afraid. I'm super afraid of what they're gonna when they put a word out. I am really afraid that it's gonna be ugly.
Now go back and rewatch this. Is he saying this is the way, or is he saying the way this is?
I'll have to go rewatch it and listen. I'm just so afraid of whoever they get to voice him. They've done a really good job. Like Babu, phenomenal, great. But when they put a voice to Grogu, that's gonna be hard.
And that's the thing. What kind of a voice are we getting? Because we hear him try to speak,
and
it's like.
Is it gonna be who voiced was it? Frank Oz? Who did Yoda?
Let's see. On the prequel series?
Yeah, the original. It has to be a similar voice, just smaller, right? I don't know how they do that.
Oh, they can auto-tune different stuff down and
yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm excited. I still trust. I really trust Favreau and Filoni. So I'm just pumped every time I sit down to see what's going to happen. And they've been really, really good. Like this last episode took me a little while to digest. I had to process it and think about it and rewatch it again. But Ty dipped out. Yeah, I can't see you anymore, Ty. You still there? I think he was Googling something. There he is.
Sorry, had to come back. Yeah, it was Frank Oz. So.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. What's that?
Look at what they did with Groot for the Groot shorts.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought Vin Diesel back and they, again.
I hope they do a good job.
So.
I hope they do a good job. But yeah, I keep pulling you away. You're trying to go in order. We started with episode 1 and I keep.
You're going to 3. That's fine. No, I'm just trying to pull
all over the place.
I'm trying to pull the good stuff that I'm really enjoying. So again, with the background that I have doing makeup, I'm a big believer of meshing practical and CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how we're continually trying to, and I think this is something that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have an understanding. We can't just throw everything on a digitally automated landscape.
No.
It's much better for the actors. It's better on camera if you have something that's right there and tangible. I'm loving how a lot of these characters now, I said you can see the budget difference.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been able to tell that from every first episode of this series, in this franchise. Episode 1, some of the big budget scale stuff they had was that guy that Mando's hunting, where he gives us his famous quote where he says, I can bring you in warm, I can bring you in cold. That fish guy that he was looking after, that's one of the biggest practical effects from season 1. And then we come to season 2. We open up, we're going into what is essentially a fighting hall where they're placing bets on the different fighters. You're seeing all these different makeup masks and different aliens involved there. Again, you saw, okay, here's budget season 1. Jumped up, here's budget season 2, just from the first episode. And then coming to season 3, episode 1, we can see, okay, now you have a whole crew of people who our aliens have really good effects going on with their face. You have the little guys who are the droid mechanics, who again are all puppeteered.
Practical. Yep.
Oh man, I'm just super into what's happening. And I get this is a far shot. I get that the mythosaur is going to most likely be full-blown CGI.
Right.
What I would love, though, if we could do it, is having scenes where they have a giant mythosaur head that either Din, Bo, whoever's going to tame this thing are like riding it. I'm just excited to see more of the effects that are coming with this season.
All of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, pretty much. Now,
I'm excited for it. The better it is, the more afraid I am they're going to screw it up. I had a lot more faith until Boba Fett came out, but it's been so good so far that every time an episode goes, I'm like, okay, please just screw it up. And then I end up enjoying it no matter what. Pretty much all of them I've enjoyed. So what was going on? I'm trying to think because now they all blend together. Episode 1, 2, and 3. What was the main arc of episode 2?
Mando had been captured by that hybrid General Grievous looking thing.
Oh yeah.
Grogu escapes, flies all the way back to Bo-Katan's castle.
Gotcha.
Grabs her, heads back,
yeah,
and saves Din.
That guy was awesome. That was cool special effects.
Yeah. And I can tell you right now, there's a ton of people that were like, oh my gosh, General Grievous, he lives? And it's like, that would be
one big eye. And
yeah,
there was some variation to him, but I knew it wasn't him.
Yeah. And a lot of people I don't think realize that Mandalorians sometimes built these mechs like this as their own fighters. It wasn't always just groups of Mandos. This thing probably was made by Mandalorians and at one point was used, but then, planet was decimated and left there. Now he's draining them for resources.
What's left? Yeah.
What I'm trying to think, because episode 2 is really good. Like I said, it escalated what I thought the entire season was going to be taking place on.
Well,
what do you think
came up in episode 2? Who'd win in a fight?
Oh, Bo-Katan.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Easy.
She went. We'd seen her do some stuff, but she went with those. Those were cool looking practical effects too. Those guys down in the caves.
Yeah,
man, she smoked those guys, especially when she got a hold of the Darksaber.
Well, and here's my thing. And I know this is reading way, way, way too much into it. Din fights that, let's just call him an android, whatever he was.
Right.
Or he fights the droid, whatever. The thing defeats Din.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that the saber, and you watch him toss the saber out in the dirt, does that mean that saber, he can lay claim to it?
That's, you thought the same, and then she picks it up.
But then she defeats that thing.
Yep.
Does that mean that now it's like an Elder Wand effect?
Yeah.
In Harry Potter.
Yeah.
This person technically beat that person, so that person has right to that property.
Yep.
Does that mean now that Bo-Katan has the right that she needs to take the Darksaber? Is it hers?
I thought the exact same thing, but he immediately kind of snags it back and clips it on as soon as he's up. But and honestly, thinking of that is, and she picks it up and just starts kicking butt with it. Has no problem with it. She's in sync. She's in sync with it. Where he's still King Arthur trying to pull it out of the stone. He still can't handle it.
But here's the thing about the Darksaber. It goes to those who know that it's destined to use it. It's the rite of passage, right?
Right.
But then the problem with wielding it is you have to be mentally, physically, everything has to be in focus and align. Look at Bo-Katan.
She knows what
physically
she wants.
She's at her peak. She knows who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She knows what she wants, and she knows how to do it, which is how we watch her slice through this thing like butter and just wield that saber effortlessly. Din, he doesn't want any of this. He now holds a thing that says, "Hey, by right, you can claim this entire creed, that everything can be yours and you call the shots. Yeah, you can be king." But he doesn't want that. We have had kind of an arc where he's a little confused on, okay, is my creed's way the way? Or am I slightly okay now with Bo-Katan and their faction of the Mandalorians and their lifestyle? Do I take this child who I was told, take him to his people, then you're done? Do I want him? Do I want him to progress with his own kind? He has so many different things that he's unsure about, and that plays into effect on how he's wielding the Darksaber.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking about while you're talking, I'm thinking, okay, where's Sabine? Why? I have so many questions. Where's Sabine, for one? And is she coming back? Because she was training with it, right?
Yeah.
She was training with the Darksaber. And then, her, and then, who else was I thinking that's gonna? Oh, the armor.
That was just left on Mandalore.
There's a sect that all put horns on their helmets,
and I've brought this up before.
Following
Death Watch.
Maul.
Yeah.
When Darth Maul was the leader, everybody that was in his crew had horns, and she's got horns.
And now the armor does, yeah.
What's going to happen? When is she going to kind of reveal her loyalty, or is that going to change things? Is that, or is she putting on a front so that, and then Bo-Katan, it's going to turn, and it's going to go kind of that Darth Maul direction, and then.
But Bo-Katan was a part of that group too.
Yeah.
With Maul. So.
Well, but she left, right?
Yeah.
And so that'll come out because she's got the horns on her helmet. No, the only ones that had those were the ones that were with Darth Maul.
And then what's the uniqueness behind the living waters? Do you think that that's needed to make Beskar stronger? Have you heard some of these theories?
Yeah, because she was using it. I don't know if it's like a blessing thing or if she's actually using it as like a.
I think there's something actually in the water.
Yeah, that she's mixing in with the water to make Beskar. Yeah, like a flux type mix stuff that she's using to.
When you cool steel. Basically,
she had some, right? You saw her use it before he went to the planet. She had some of the living waters because it reacted the same. So,
well,
all sorts of stuff.
That's the thing. I'm usually good with like predictions and stuff, but I'm at a standstill right now. If the one thing we might see that I don't want to see is supposedly Moff Gideon has escaped.
Right.
That was not just a normal load of and TIE fighters. And that wasn't a normal load of TIE fighters coming to blow up her castle.
Yeah. I'm still thinking that might be Thrawn. That are close enough to.
I'll take that. I'll take it. Thrawn.
But also, or is he the puppet behind the Imperial one that's over there getting the doctor?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like,
did he escape or did he send her? Or is he could have plans from prison that's still in effect, and so she's just executing the plans. It could be Moff Gideon, or because at some point here the First Order is going to come out, right?
Yeah,
the seeds of it or how it starts.
What's coming? Yeah. I need to get to episode 4 before I can start making some like solid predictions, because my entire thing was the season revolving around Mandalore, which it still will, but we've hit episode 5 material that I thought we were getting on episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any real big predictions right now.
All my predictions I'm pretty happy with. Like, all these things, all these directions we've talked about that they possibly could go, I kind of like them all. So whichever way they go, and if you think about it, it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be all of them, which is crazy, right? It doesn't seem like Disney or Lucas they're okay rolling off 6 simultaneous stories all at the same time. It's like, is there a shortage of directors? Or directors? No. We'll give this one to, how many do they have on their crew right now? 6 or 7 directors that they're using whenever they want.
Rotate around, yeah.
They're like, okay, we'll prove you on a couple episodes of The Mandalorian while you're being watched over by Favreau and Filoni
and Favreau.
And if you get the blessing, now you get a series, and we'll spin off. Honestly, I mean, you think there's a lack of bandwidth, but why would there be? You can just find more directors. Like I said, put them through the fire, let them do a couple episodes, and be like, yeah, I think you're good, and they let them go. Like they did that, and I think it might have ended up being a mistake in Boba Fett. I think it was kind of supervisory, but they gave him a little bit too much rope, and it got a little bit outside of Star Wars and kind of what we know is it was weird. There was, I don't know. And they've done that a couple of times, right? Luke totally changed characters. He came back and was not Luke, right? And even Mark Hamill will say that. This isn't Luke. I don't know who this is. I'll play this guy, but this isn't Luke. And then same thing with this one. When Boba Fett came back, they tried to tell a story of what happened with the Tusken Raiders and why he changed, but it wasn't the same Boba that was in the Mandalorian season 2.
Oh yeah.
So
it comes back in his
totally different guy when they brought in Rodriguez. What was his name? Anyway, that director, they should have kind of kept him in lines a little bit more because it went pretty crazy. But yeah, I don't think there's any reason why all these predictions can't go all the directions and give us just a ton more Star Wars. I just don't know if I have that much time to keep up on 5 things all going at the same time.
Well, it's going to get to the point where it's like Marvel, where there's so much and you're going to have to consume so much content to be on the same page. But guys, if you have any predictions coming up for the rest of the season for the Mandalorian season 3, send us a message, comment on our posts, and let's bring them up and talk about them.
Yeah.
But I think now we're going to segue into our next portion of the show where we're going to talk about Bob Iger and who's in the running to be the next CEO for Disney, and what that's a scary thing. Because we had Chapek, who did not last long, and we had some pretty downhill stuff going on.
I don't know enough about this guy. He just pulled back into Imagineering, to head Imagineering. He left at some point. And if I remember right, it coincided with when he appointed Chapek. That guy was like, nope, and bolted. And then Iger's kind of bringing back those core crew. But what I do know of that guy, I can't remember his name. He's now the head of Imagineering. He seems to be, and another thing I read, he never, the reskinning of stuff in the parks?
Yeah.
That never happened while he was there. Whenever they closed something down or they redid something, it was never a half job or just a coat of paint. He always did everything right and did it, reimagined the whole thing and made it better, where they were pinching pennies. And
here's the problem with, what Chapek did is the first thing that is one of the biggest, grossest problems that he brought. I'm sorry, Genie Plus was not received well.
No.
By nearly everyone. I mean, yes, it's basically saying, hey, you can pay to play. If you can fork over this much more money, you get priority over rides versus everyone else, which it's a business, I get it, but from something that used to be free that could be utilized well enough to everyone. Because nowadays it's like, depending on the park and day, you can buy Genie Plus and you're sitting in a Genie Plus line almost as long as the normal stand-in line. So
with Chapek, and it was part of the way he did it, but it was also what he was doing. And it was a big deal of how it made me feel. You know what I mean? I felt like the man was trying to pick my pocket every time I turned around. He just wanted to get a little bit more money out of me, And it felt that way. You know what I mean? because I know Disney's expensive. Disney costs a lot of money. You go there and you spend a whole bunch of money, but I never felt like they were trying to take it. I was trying to give it to them because of how awesome the stuff was or how awesome the experience was. You know, when the Imagineers and the imagination and the experience comes first, the Disney fans are pulling it out of their pocket. They can't get enough of it. They're waiting in giant lines to get a freaking popcorn bucket. But
yeah,
it's still money as fast as we can if we're paying for the feeling, the experience, the joy, that kind of stuff, where he's turned it and he was just trying to pick your pocket, and it felt that way. It was, the magic slowly started to dwindle. And I think most people will tell you that as they went into the parks, any of those things, Disney experiences, it started to feel a little more, I don't want to be negative to you, universal, you know. It was missing the magic. Universal is awesome, but
it's a fun
magic
theme park,
Disneyland, that is different.
Yeah, it's a fun theme park that, and I say you can do Universal LA. It's easily a day trip.
Mm-hmm.
It's a theme park. You're going to a theme park that's just for, and I say theme park. Disney's a theme park too. Well, like you said, I'm trying to say it. You go to Disney. Disney is different.
Mm-hmm.
You and Val said last episode.
Yeah, I said Val's aching to have an episode just talking about how
just
to Disney at
there,
the parks and the magic and everything,
without even writing anything.
100%.
That's I've told my wife. I tell people, you could put me in Disney Park, and I'm there for the ambience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm happy just standing there.
Yeah.
But like you said, Chapek took that away to where you're there and you're like, okay, I can obviously feel you're reaching in my wallet.
Yeah.
For different things. Now.
Yeah. He took away, he definitely reduced the magic. And I don't know what Iger does. I mean, there's other aspects because nothing's changed. Like, really, as far as like what's happening, he's made a little bit of tweaks, but it already feels different. I feel like even when you interact with the cast members, those guys act different now. Like, literally, they were always amazing. The cast members are always great, but they seem like they are having more fun, right? They're having more fun at work. So,
well, we've got just a little bit. We're going to talk about a few of the replacements possibly coming up. First off, do you think it'd be better to go in company or out company?
I don't have a preference. I think you need to find somebody with Bob Iger's experience at the political nightmare that is the world today.
Yeah.
Being able to dodge it's a friggin' landmine. You know, there's so many things you can do wrong, and he just has grown up in the atmosphere where he's had to deal with public relations all the time. He understands how to talk. He understands people. He understands the risks and, you know, what to say, what not to say. And if you get somebody like that, and then the second thing I think is going to be critical is that the magic and Imagineering.
Yeah.
Every time Disney has put those guys on the back burner and not let the Imagineers do everything and given money to them, it's gone down. The experience has gone down. Their stock has gone down. People are grumpy at them around every corner. But if he knows how to, you know, maneuver through that political minefield, which Bob Iger, so far as I've seen, is the best, and he always puts the experience, the story, and the Imagineers first, then it find somebody like that. And it doesn't really matter where they come from, but they need to. So we were going to go over, you know, a long list of possible candidates. I think we're going to save that, come back to where we can really dive into some of the people and some of their backgrounds and what they have experience with. But 2 years, I'm just going to finish off by saying 2 years scares me. Yeah.
One, like you said, we have the feeling back that we used to have. And I actually referenced to Jake. I told him he needs to read Bob Iger's Ride of a Lifetime, his autobiography. You can understand, you get to see his background, where he started in entertainment, where he grew with it, the unexpected turn to, I'm going to apply to become Disney CEO after Michael Eisner and I don't want to say Michael Eisner was terrible either, because he had his golden time when he had his partner before his accident. But as soon as that happened, things went downhill. But again, we're going to come back and talk about some of the candidates in more depth and detail, try to find out some of their backstories, what they could possibly bring to the table. Do they have the mindset to make money, or do they have the mindset to bring us magic? Which, that's the difference between Chapek and Iger. You look at Iger, he's money and growth and all that is a byproduct if you focus on the content and the people that you're bringing it to.
I think we should all bring our veto card too. Who?
Yeah,
you could automatically veto someone. Who would it be? I already know who mine would be. But
yeah, I think I have mine too.
Yeah.
So, and again, today Val isn't feeling so well. She loved episode 3, which you guys know how that would have gone back and forth between her and I. But she's going to be gone on an awesome trip to Africa. I'm jealous. So she might be able to, say hi here and there. But me and Jake are going to bring you guys a couple episodes while she's out having fun doing that. Do you have anything else that you want to add to this before we sign off?
Just me and Ty are going to be getting ready to be in Disneyland in about a month?
Oh, May the 4th.
This is part of my costume. Sooner. Where is it? Right here. So this is throwing it together. So getting ready for our, we'll be there for Star Wars Day, right?
May the 4th. Yep.
May the 4th. So we'll update you guys on that too and how it was. And I'm getting excited though. It's getting close.
Yeah. If you guys have anything you want us to talk about, I know for some of our upcoming episodes, we have some people who have been asking to do some deep dives into some Disney books that we've kind of been getting into. That would be fun. But if you guys have any movies, books, rides that you want us to talk about, send us a message at multiplanepodcast@gmail.com or on our Facebook or other socials, and let's talk about it. Until next time, see ya.
See you guys.